Good morning. What business taxes are due in January? Well, depending on the business you have, you might be required to file some taxes in January. So I'm just going to go through them and you'll see which one your business might relate to. So business taxes due by January 31st. And I'm just going to use January 31st. Depending on the year, the exact date deadline might vary. For instance, for 2021, there are taxes that are due by January 31st, but the deadline is February 1st, 2021. So instead of going with the exact deadline for 2021, I'm just going to go with the January date. And I believe publication 509, IRS publication 509 will have the calendar year for taxes as well. If you're interested to read it, yeah, you might pull it out. And I believe I will have the link under 2020 Federal Tax Form and Instructions on our blog, ninasoap.com, for you to just click on the link and access the IRS PDF. So what business taxes are due in January? State sales return tax return. So if you live in a state that charge sales tax and you have a business, you sell physical product, whether you sell it in a brick and mortar store or you sell online, you are required to charge sales tax depending on the product. For instance, in Iowa, sales tax are now collected on food, on some food items, but they are on processed food. So you have to do your homework as well to see what you are selling. If that's something that a local store will charge tax on, then you should be charging tax on it as well. So if you are selling online, you'll be collecting tax on buyers from your state that will purchase it from you, from your online store. You'll collect sales tax on them, and at the end of the year you'll file state sales return, a tax return form, and pay those collected tax to your state. So depending on how you fill out that form, when you require the sales permit, you might be required to pay the end of the year or pay quarterly. So that will vary as well. So if you estimated that you are not going to collect a large amount of sales tax, then you might just be an annual return payment. So once again, go with what your state is requiring. I'm just going to give a general idea here. And along with state sales tax return, and in fact when you apply for a state sales permit, by December your state will send you a form, and that's the state sales return or tax return form that is due by January 31st. So you'll fill it out as well. So you might get from the state, depending on how you request the sales permit from your state, you might get state consumer use tax return form. And what is state consumer use tax return? So as a business owner, if you purchase something online for your business and you didn't pay tax on it, but you know that if you have purchased it from a store in town, you'll have paid tax on it, it is your duty to pay that tax back to your state at the end of the year. And if your state does not give you a state consumer use tax return, you could pull a generic form from their website, state consumer use tax return form. You can just tap it in their website and you'll access it, print it out, fill it up, and add the payment to it and send it in. So that means during the year they'll send you a consumer use permit, or by December they will send you the form so that you can with your permit on it so that you can file with them. So you have those two state taxes there. Along with the state, you might be required to pay state withholding tax return. So if you have employees, you might be required to pay that, to file that tax return, and usually you could file it online and then you'll make payment, and you should be able to pay online too if you want. And that's that. Or they might send you vouchers as well so that you can send your payment in. And depending on how much you owe in taxes, it might be the frequency you should be paying, making deposit for those taxes or paying them might vary. So keep your document, your business document, file them properly so that you are you don't lose track of those details. Employers quarterly federal tax return, Form 941. If you are required to file Form 941, then you need to file one for the prior year, last quarter, ending December 31st. You need to file that by January 31st. And that's if you are required to file Form 941. And a little bit about form, maybe I can say that here. So if you are filing Form 941, this one is just the form, the return. You have to keep in mind when you should be making deposit as well. So and how do you choose how often you should deposit your tax liability? And based on IRS instructions, you have to look back for the last 2 years, the last 2 calendar years, starting July 1st to June 30th. So for the last 2 years, to see if you have collected, like on your 941, if you have reported $50,000 in taxes or less, then you are required to make deposit on a monthly basis. And if you look at your Form 941, which are quarterly form, and you notice that for the prior 2 calendar years you reported taxes for more than $50,000, then you are required to make deposit every 2 weeks. You are a semi-weekly depositor. But you have to choose at the beginning of the year, like in January now, you have to choose what type of depositor you are going to be for this year and stick with it by looking for the past 2 years. So if you don't have any, your business is new, you don't have any 2 years to look for, you can just start by being a monthly depositor if you are required to file Form 941. But you can still read the instructions for Form 941 to see what you are required, how often you are required to make your deposits. And I will have a link to Form 941 on our blog, ninasop.com, under 2020 tax form, federal tax form and instructions, so that you can just click on the link and have it will take you straight to IRS websites where the form is, so that you can read it yourself. So that's for Form 941 if that's what you are required. Form 944, employer's annual federal tax return. If you are required to file an annual form, not a quarterly form, then that will be Form 944 and it's due by January 31st. Specifically for this year, the deadline is February 1st, 2021. If you are going to submit it with a payment, but if you made your deposit, you are not going to submit it with payment, I believe you can file it by the deadline is February 10, 2021. But I like to stick with the generic date, and that's file it by January 31st. And how do you know if you are required to file 944 or 941? Well, you have to look at your EIN letter that you receive from the IRS, it should state the forms you should, the tax return you should file for your business. So if that's an L.L.C, it might say 1065 has to be filed, and Form 944 or Form 941. But if that, it depends on how you fill out or you complete your EIN application. You'll be asked if you have employees and how much tax liabilities you might have had. I have done that a while ago, but depending on how you answer those questions will determine what kind of additional form IRS will list on your EIN letter for you to file. So file the forms that you are required to file. Even if your tax is 0, you need to file them and file them on time. And if your tax, for this instance, if your tax liability is more than $1,000, IRS might send you a letter and say, okay, instead of filing Form 944 annual return, file Form 941, the quarterly return. But just don't make the switch without their approval. They will send you a letter if they want you to make the switch. Otherwise, just continue filing the form they state you should file. Even if your tax is 0, you are required to file Form 941. You should file Form 941 until you receive a letter from them saying that, well, just file Form 944, an annual return. Form 940, employers annual federal unemployment FUTA tax return. Well, that's an annual form there, and it's due by January 31st. And also, you might check with your state to see if you are required, your business is required to file a state unemployment tax return and file that on time. W-2, W-3. You need to file that with Social Security Administration by January 31st, and you can file it online. But remember, you are not going to make payment to Social Security Administration when it comes to your tax liabilities, tax withheld. You will make that payment to IRS, and all the totals of your W-2s that you file with SSA, the total has to match the total on Form 944. So just keep that in mind. Now you have to reconcile both. Form 1099 NEC, non-employees compensation. So if you pay at least $600 to any person that provide a service to your business, or an attorney or lawyer, or you withheld tax on any non-employee of your business, regardless of the amount you pay that person, you have to file 1099 NEC, non-employee compensation, due by January 31st. And also, depending on the business you have, you want to check with your state to see if you are required to file a biannual report. And what is a biannual report? Depending on the state you live in, I'm just going to take an example of Iowa, where our business is. When you have an L.L.C or an S Corp or a corporation, in the state of Iowa, you will be required to file a biannual report every other year or every 2 years. And we can file it online and pay a fee for it. So, and in the state of Iowa, it's due by March 31st. So check with your state. If you file your business with your state and you are an L.L.C, an S Corp or a corporation, check with your state to see if you are required to file any type of report with your business, for your business with your state, and how often you should file that and file it on time. So it's not due in January in our states, but I like to point it out here just in case it varies from state to state, so that you keep an eye on the date you file with your states. And in the state of Iowa, they will send an email to remind, as a reminder of that. So just keep your business administrative record or documents properly filed so that you don't get confused with those. So for that reason, I will have it could be a PDF of all those taxes that I talk about. It will be for purchase at Libre download, in case you are interested to have a PDF version of it in your file, so that you can keep an eye on the form that you are required to file for your business and the deadline, so that you can file it and file it on time. And also we will have a longer version as well for purchase at libredownload.com when it's ready, and when it's available I will make a short video to show you that as well. That way you can choose if you want the shorter version or the longer version, and just have something in file, or you can just draft your own as well. And those are the taxes, the business taxes that you have to file for your business in January, and most of them, they are due by January 31st. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Thank you for all your comments, and we thank you very much, you all that subscribe to our channel. And I like to point something out before I forget. Some of those taxes, how to file those taxes, some of them I will post a video to show how to file them, but the videos are not going to be available before the deadline. But I will still post them so that we have them on record to know how to file those taxes. And if you are interested to to watch those videos, please will you subscribe, that way you can get notified when I publish those videos, or you can just visit us as well to see what is new that you are interested to watch. So I'll have those videos published, but it will be after the due date. That's why I like to just point out all the type of taxes, business taxes, form of returns that you are required to file, or you might be required to file, so that if you forget something that you think you are required to file, you might start working on it right away. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Afiavi Odrune Libreman, creators of Libono Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel, Libono Consulting L.L.C podcast, ninasoap.com our blog, and we do have our online stores, including natural product store, ninassoap.com, custom apparel, liberlabel.com, and for resale products, liberoutlets.com, and for our digital products, liberdownload.com. On our blog, ninassoap.com, we do have a free download session in the sidebar where you can take a look if you visit our blog to see if there is anything available there that you are interested in, or if you are looking for a tax form and it's not easy for you to find it on IRS website. You can visit the free download session of our blog to check if we have a link to the form there for you to just click on it and quickly find it, and it will quickly just direct you to IRS website to that form or that instruction so that you can open it. So thank you so much for your time.